Tyler Guyton is a player fresh out of Manor, Texas, who was a multiple sport athlete and being one of the more athletic tackles coming out of the draft this year. He originally committed to TCU, where he made his first college start as a halfback slash tight end against Oklahoma in 2021 and scored a 6-yard receiving touchdown. Every lineman's dream, Cowboys Nation. A 2-year starter at Oklahoma who manned the right tackle position, protecting the left-handed quarterback's blind side, and had a lot of respect from his coaches, Bill Bendenbaugh, saying he's the most talented prospect he's ever coached. And this is a guy that had Orlando Brown and Creed Humphrey. So that's saying a lot. Being a right tackle and moving to the left tackle position, there will be growing pains. But being around Tyler Smith and Zach Martin, iron sharpens iron. So I'm sure this will get him ready to roll early on. So when you're taking a look at Tyler Guyton, he is one of the guys that is a tree of an athlete that is 6'8", 328 pounds, 32-inch arms, and an 82-inch wingspan. He also has 10 and a quarter inch hands, so you like to see offensive tackles having those vice grips, and he's one of the players that literally looks like he's built out of a science lab. And that's exactly what you need on his team. A guy that can go out there and use his athleticism and make a difference when it matters, Cowboys Nation. So on this play here, it's going to be a run play to the right side. But when you're seeing guys like Tyler Guyton and that guard, they're going to combo block that defensive tackle. And the thing is about the NFL, can you go out there and double team block and get down to the second level and be physical? Because when you're looking at these NFL players, a lot of these running backs, if they get the smallest little crease, they can go out there and boogie. So with his type of athleticism and what this guy can be able to do at the second level, it is a thing of beauty, Cowboys Nation. So we're going to spin it. So keying in on Tyler Guyton and that guard, those guys went out there and combo blocked that defensive tackle. And it's so good because if you can do your job as far as that offensive line and smother that defensive tackle, it makes it so much easier for you to be able to get down to that linebacker. And the good thing is, whenever you see these offensive linemen going up against these safeties and these linebackers, being 6'8", 328 pounds, all you have to do is get in the way, Cowboys Nation, and these running backs can go out there and cook. And whenever Tyler Guyton went out there and had the opportunity to get down to the second level and use his athleticism, this is part of the reason why a lot of teams was looking at him going early in this draft. And if he can be able to be one of the guys that can have that type of movement come Sundays, this is how you can be able to get chunk plays as a whole offense. Being an offensive tackle in this league is going to be a lot of times where you're going to have to go out there and fire off the ball. You're going to have a really, really good kick slide. But some of these offensive schemes, they love for their offensive tackle to attack these defensive ends right off the snap and go out there and be physical and set the tone. And this was a good rep from him. I like to be able to see the hand placement from this guy. And if he can continue to do these type of plays like this, it's going to definitely look good on Sundays. So we'll go ahead and run it. So keying in on Tyler Guyton, he's firing off with that left foot. And just seeing this guy going out there and just using his athleticism, using his hands, and just engaging in contact, the better offensive tackles, they can be able to engage quickly. And having those long arms, it makes it so much easier for this type of offensive tackle because once this guy can be able to latch on, he can go out there and sit down, drive his legs, and finish the play, Cowboys Nation. But seeing this guy going out there and lunging at that defensive end and being successful at it, that was definitely a good rep. Here's one of the bad plays where he's lunging. Sometimes he has good reps doing it, but you do see some mistakes when he does it on film. We know that he can be effective, but consistency is key with him. So let's run it. So keying in on Tyler Guyton, you see he's firing off the ball like the previous play, but on this play here, he has his hands on the outside. You want to make sure that you have your hands in the inside so you can be able to gain leverage because a lot of these defensive ends, if they have their hands in the inside, they can be able to disengage just like that with a quick swim move. And sometimes whenever you can be able to have a player that can be able to make a quick move like that, that can be the biggest difference of the play. And the defensive end gave him a quick swim move and closed in and made the tackle. And when you're looking at these type of plays, they can be fixed, but you got to go out there and get down to the technique things. But hearing that this guy was with Duke Manyweather, using your hands, proper footwork, all of that matters when it comes down to that tackle position. So I believe that this guy can be able to get it right, but good lunges, sometimes he's doing bad lunges. You just got to be consistent, but he does show flashes, some reps of a guy that can be able to get it done. So here's another play here of him being able to use his footwork. And this is one of his best attributes as far as the offensive tackle, just using his leg movement, getting down to the second level and being a slippery athlete, going up against these defensive ends, it makes it so much harder for these guys. And the thing is, when you're seeing players that's using club moves, swipe moves, and ghost rushes. If you can be able to get that kick slide right, it makes it that much harder for these guys. But not only that, being able to just get your hands on this guy and just doing the little things when it comes down to being an offensive tackle. And you see that he was giving this guy fits. I mean, this guy just lifting his hands up in the air. But usually when it comes down to this type of player here, once he can be able to get his hands on you and get in the way, this is when you see Tyler Guyton at his best. But getting down to the details is what it's going to come down to, Cowboys Nation. And he finished on his play. So on this play here, it ended up being a bad play. And the thing is with Tyler Guyton, he didn't have a ton of bad plays throughout his career. But when you're looking at the NFL, when you're looking at college, if you're playing 70 plays and you make a mistake on two of them or three of them, we got to point those out. He had a lot of good plays, but he does have some bad plays. And I'm sure with guys like Duke, there's some things that he has to work on. So we'll go ahead and run it. So just seeing this guy get out of the stance, and the kick slide did look good on this play, but the difference is that defensive end, he did not go to the outside and he jammed right inside. And locking in on his footwork, you see that this guy was sliding. I don't know if it was slippery outside, but you have to make sure you do not overcommit when it comes down to these defensive ends because these guys can slice inside. He didn't end up getting a sack on the play, but he did get a hurry. And sometimes when you can be able to get things like that, it can force these quarterbacks into mistakes. But the thing is, if you're overcommitting against these players, sometimes these guys can get away so quickly. But when you have guys like Tyler Smith and Zach Martin that's there, just teaching you the things that you need to know, and not saying that this guy is going to be perfect, but we have to break these things down. But when you have that type of leadership, when it comes down to the Dallas Cowboys, I think that this guy will be ready to roll, but he got to put in that work. So here's a play right here where he's showing his toughness and his ability to be able to finish. If you have a guy that can be able to play to the whistle, coaches love to see this. And these are the reps here that never go unnoticed when it comes to scouts during the draft process. So we'll go ahead and run it. Just seeing this guy just latch on to the defender and just drive his legs. You see that those legs are moving and completely removing the guy off the screen. This is what you like to see, Cowboys Nation. Whenever you have a situation like this where you can be able to completely remove a guy and drive your legs and just be physical, he did say that he wants to be one of the guys that not only be athletic, but be physical and finish plays. Now, looking at Tyler Smith and guys like Cooper Beebe, that is what they do as far as the offensive line. And if you can have another guy out there that can be imposing and just setting the tone and making it easier for all the playmakers on the offensive line, bringing this guy in here and making these type of effective plays, it'll make you that much more better of an offense. So with guys like Tyler Guyton, being with everybody on the offensive line, you got the Zach Martins, you got the Tyler Smith. And the good thing about guys like Smith, coming out of college, a lot of people, they had so many questions about the technique things. But when you're getting with guys like Mike Solari, when you having trust in guys like Will McClay to go out there to go get difference makers, I believe that this guy can get it done. Moving from that right tackle position to that left tackle position, there will be challenges when it comes down to this player. But if this guy can be able to lock in and stay focused, I think that he can be one of the better tackles in this league, but he's going to have to put in that work. So it's going to be exciting to see how this all plays out because the offensive line is going to be critical to get to where they want to go. So comment below and let me know what you guys think about this player and if this guy can be able to go out there and make a difference in year one. So make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe and hit that notification bell because the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you don't hit it, you'll miss on fire live streams and the best Cowboys film on YouTube. All right, Cowboys Nation, talk to y'all soon. Gone.